There's many ways a fighter becomes a legend now. You don't see that in 2025 where word of mouth puts it all together for a fighter in a match or a series of matches. But when Hands of Stone started to reach his mid 20s, he was getting more and more publicity, especially in non-English countries and territories of the world. In Canada, he was bigger in Quebec than he ever was in the rest of Canada because Quebecers really appreciated his hard knock style, a la Von Durrell. Now, today we're talking about a fight that almost led to him killing a guy in the ring, a very capable fighter, a member of the Oregon Hall of Fame. And to say Ray Lampkin was knocked out in this fight would be an understatement. Now, he's very well regarded across the state, especially Oregon, in their Sports Hall of Fame. But the day he was almost killed was a fight that will live in memory as one of Roberto Duran's best, if not number one knockouts at lightweight. Now, today we're talking about Roberto Duran, the WBA champion, defending his crown, which was the lineal championship, against Ray Lampkin in Panama. Now, the fight was supposed to take part early in January 75, as arrangements were made that would see, again, the world champion, Duran, face Lampkin. Original plans called for the fight to take place in Miami Beach, Florida, and what had been Duran's first defense in the United States. However, the fight ultimately took place in Duran's native Panama instead. Now, ironically, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't a pay-per-view fight, but it was syndicated worldwide, especially in Central America and in like the Spanish and Portuguese-speaking countries. Now, Lampkin, a very capable fighter, came into the match holding the North American Boxing Federation lightweight crown, having won the vacant title by defeating Nick Alfaro. Now, he had lost an NEBF title match before to champion Esteban de Jesus, of course, the big rival of Duran. This victory against Alfaro made him the number one ranked lightweight in the process in the WBA rankings. Though the fight with Duran was already signed, Lampkin chose to accept a tune-up fight, putting his title shot on the line in a WBA lightweight title eliminator bout against Miguel Mayo, the number 7 ranked lightweight. Lampkin won the fight in unimpressive fashion, besting Mayo by the relative close unanimous decision. Said Lampkin after the fight, "Yeah, the win was nice, but I have to do a lot better to bring home the title. This was my first fight in 3.5 months, and it wasn't sharp, but it was a good workout. Some people ask me why I took this fight, but if I can't beat him, why would I go to Panama at all?" Duran also took a tune-up bout in preparation for his title defense, knocking out Andres Salgado in the first round 2 weeks before facing Lampkin. Now, the venue was at the Gimnasio Nuevo Panama in Panama City, Panama. Great location. Hands of Stone got only $75,000 for the fight, U.S. 48-1 entering in, and according to published reports, he had not lost an amateur or only lost one amateur or pro fight in 72 starts. Now, young, 23 years, 8 months, 5'7.5", weighed in at a very, very light 133. And again, Lightning Lampkin from Portland, Oregon, got 15,000. Entering, he was 33-1. Age, allegedly either 26 or 27. Similar height at 5'7". Came in at 134. Now, Lampkin held his own with Duran for most of the match, but in the later rounds, you can tell that Lampkin was losing strength while Duran was gaining. Now, though Lampkin started off again very effective, Duran's constant pressure, coupled with the intense heat and humidity of Panama's climate, tired Lampkin, and Duran controlled the fight during the mid to late rounds. And however, by the 14th, the shit hit the fan. Turning in 9 seconds into the stanza, Duran would finally end the fight after a big left hook, one of the biggest left hook in boxing history, send his opponent down for the count, with his head smacking hard against the canvas and rendering him unconscious. Now, following the fight, Lampkin remained unconscious for over 80 minutes and was rushed to the hospital after attempts to revive him by administering oxygen were unsuccessful. A half an hour after his hospitalization, Lampkin did regain consciousness, and his condition was upgraded to delicate and not serious numerous hours later. The only reason he didn't get killed because he said Lampkin had a very, like I said, a strong upper body. He remained in a hospital's intensive care unit for 5 days and was diagnosed with a cerebral concussion, while his left leg was also temporarily paralyzed. Now, Duran, in one of his most infamous comments of that era, when asked about his performance, he infamously quoted as saying, "I was not in my best condition. Next time we fight, I will kill him." Now, actually, Wilfredo Gomez was on the card as well, the distinguished fighter, and some good matches there. Mario Mendoza defeated Carlos Walters at 130. Alfonso Frazier defeated Jose Blanco, and Reinaldo Hidalgo defeated Robert Suarez on points. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you go on YouTube, you'll either see the whole fight or knockouts. This is considered by many Duran's best knockout of the 1970s. Now, how good was Ray Lampkin? Well, we'll come to this for a second. Just look at the quality of fighters he took on. Now, he started his career in 1968, and he took on the best people in the Portland region he could. He found most of these fights in Portland up until these bouts in Miami Beach at the auditorium. Now, he lost again a key fight to Esteban De Jesus. Entering the fight, De Jesus was 31-1, and that was his first, big loss. Now, in the rematch against De Jesus, he lost again, and again that was 3 fights against Lampkin. Now, a very controversial loss was against Angel Morales in the Hippodrome Theater in Las Vegas. Now, 2 big wins for him was Chucho Padilla, Pete Vitale, and Nick Alfaro. And Alfaro again, that was the big victory before he got into Duran. Now, after he lost to Duran, he had some very key bouts, and he tried to move up towards like the welterweight division, but he lost to the great Randy Shields in November of 1976. We all know Randy Shields was a perennial top 10, top 20 contender in the welterweights. And the idea about Shields, ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't scared to take on the fight. He took some really tough matches against Johnny Bumpus, Milton McCrory, lost to Tommy Hearns, again lost to Pepino Cuevas, lost to Ray Leonard, Wilfred Benitez, Pete Ranzani, where he drew with Ranzani the fight before, and again his big victory towards the welterweights. And he was in the infamous U.S. Championship tournament in 1975. But Randy was a tough customer. So it's all interconnected because Leonard Duran were rivals. They both, De Jesus is in the mix. But at 135 and 147, it could be like a movement up or down. But Ray Lampkin, just to tell everybody that he's a record, 34-6-1. And again, Oregon Sports Hall of Fame well deserved. And the only reason he wasn't killed, I think he just a strong fighter with a strong upper body. So this is a story of Roberto Duran, probably his most famous knockout, that probably led to his big contracts with Bob Arum down the road. But Duran of 1974-75, wow, dangerous as fuck, ladies and gentlemen. Hands of stone. He may have quit against Leonard, but until that 5-year period between Lampkin and he's lost to Sugar Leonard in a rematch, he was devil on roller skates, man. He was just hands of stone. And by the way, he comes from a region where stones are a big part of the culture, and that's where he comes from. The Piedras region, stone region of Panama. Ladies and gentlemen, Roberto Duran was more of a hero to non-English people than he was ever to English-speaking people. And the Francophones, Acadian, Quebec, we loved him. We adopted his own because, again, Yvonne Durrell once told me, the former number 1 contender for Archie Moore's title, that Roberto Duran was the meanest fighter he ever saw fight. A shark in the water, he called it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here, we're a Boxing Vintage podcast. Let us know what to like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.